DVD pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Go first, or I go?
I guess I'll go first. This is a bit off the cuff, but I'd like to recommend a movie called.
Quiet.
I'd like to recommend a movie called A Quiet City. A Quiet City. It's a movie made on a very, very, very low budget, about like $1,000, $2,000. And it's just about a girl who comes from Atlanta to New York City, and she's going to stay with her friend. Her friend's not there. Meets a guy just on the street, and they end up. She ends up sleeping at his house. I mean, they get to know each other, and that's basically about it. Nothing really huge happens. It's all pretty ambiguous, but it's just so natural and real that it's really just a great film. And it also shows you what you can do with a very limited budget, very limited resources. I mean, these are young people like us who made the film, and you can buy it online or get it from Netflix. So I'd highly recommend it. It's Quiet City. Part of the mumblecore movement of movies, if you're familiar with that, Wikipedia, that little item.
Something to check out. All right, my DVD pick of the week is sort of going with the movie we just reviewed. It's called Short Bus. It's a film by John Cameron Mitchell. It was very well received at Sundance in 2006, and it got very limited release over the country. It is not rated because it contains non-simulated sex by the actors, which I will grant you I think is kind of a gimmick. The regular kind of sex, movie sex, would have worked just fine. But I think it's important to have a film which takes sex and sexuality seriously, and that's what this film does, even though it's a comedy, and it's a very funny film too. But I think it says something about movies as they are today, that this film, a comedy, is more honest and frank about sex than the porn film which we just discussed.
Ooh,
and
good point.
in some senses, it does not go out to be erotic, but there are some scenes of eroticism which are more titillating, frankly, than anything in that movie. I can't recommend it enough. It is a very graphic film.
Very explicit.
It's explicit in every sense of the word. But, you know, at the end of the day, you see what you see, but it's all out there for a reason, I do think. And I think it works, and it works well, and the characters are all worth caring about. I won't go into the details. All I can do is recommend Short Bus.
In a
very, very high.
In a very shocking beginning scene.
If you can get through the beginning,
yeah, exactly.
The worst part.
If you can get through the beginning scene, which is probably the most graphic scene, then you'll be able to get through the entire movie.
And that's really the intention of John Cameron Mitchell too, is to show something that graphic, get all the blushes out of the audience, and say this is what the movie's about. You're gonna have to deal with it. And if you are open to that sort of thing, these stories and these characters are so special. And there are moments of such humor in sex, and we always don't want to associate the two, but there's such humor in the sex in this movie. It really holds a special place in my heart. I absolutely adore it.
I agree.